and then I don't know the exact numbers, like I have them in the study, but it said a lot of the students, where is it? Yeah, a lot of the students had a lot of fried food, alcohol, and inconsistent meals, so it was like pretty unhealthy eating habits and stuff. But they only picked 104 students out of like two different departments on campus, so that was like one of the weak points that I mentioned in the bottom bit. Um, and they said these results led to believe that the best action would be to start implementing nutrition education programs. That was their conclusion, which I thought was like a pretty general conclusion. I thought like anybody could like draw that conclusion at the end of a health study thing. And then yeah, the only weak points I said I had about the study was that it was just a relatively small sample. I mean, it was 104 students, which is a pretty like healthy size, I guess. But if they were trying to like generalize it to the whole university, because it was like a communications and like a biology department, I think that's all they interviewed on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, did I do that one right? How's that one looking?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it sounds right. Like you said, it is kind of like a general question. So it was, I think it was a good article you chose. But yeah, sounds right.
Nice. I thought it was pretty straightforward on this one.
Yeah.
Did you use an article, or did you get it online, or a newspaper article?
Yeah, I got it online because I don't have a newspaper or a magazine.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just went to like the university library.
Okay.
And I just picked one from there. I hope that's okay.
I think he wanted it as a newspaper article. What we can do is we could find like an online newspaper article.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I can do that. Yeah, I'll redo this one.
Let me just see. I'm trying to find your where is it? Okay. Yeah, I think that's newspaper magazine. Yeah. So I would just find like an LA Times or New York Times or whatever is online.
Can I just find those online for free?
I think so.
Yeah, you should be able to.
It should be, yeah.
I think like LA Times will let you view like 2 or 3 articles for free before you would have to pay for it.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks like along the same lines. I mean, it might be simpler in a way because most articles don't really quote like numbers of participants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, I think, a good weakness is that sample size was small because, I mean, most universities, like 100 people, even a small university, that'd be a really tiny sample. And then if that's only 2 departments, we don't know if those are students who live on campus or not, where they're eating. We don't know anything. So I think you were on the right track for it.
Nice. Cool. So I'll just do the same thing I did for that one, but I'll redo it on like a newspaper article.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think that would be good.
When are we turning this one in?
I usually submit it by Friday night, but if you guys need more time, it's not due until Sunday.
Okay, I'll finish my bit by today anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could always refer back to it and make any changes as needed.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. I did the second one. I was able to find a research article on ERIC using the library OneSearch. What I did was, the name of the article was An Overview of Review Studies on Effectiveness of Major AAC Systems for Individuals with Developmental Disabilities, including Autism. I just cited it. I also provided the link on our Google Doc if you guys want to take a look at it as I go through it, or trust me. So I copy and pasted the abstract. It was pretty straightforward. It stated it exactly as it is. So for this specific article, they actually mentioned the limitations and a suggestion for future research. And that was considerable research, future research is needed to support practitioners searching for the best AAC system compatible with existing skills and abilities of the individual. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar what AAC is. Do you guys know?
Yeah, after I read that first little bit.
Yeah, in the abstract.
Yeah. It's basically used for a lot of kids who has special needs, including like autism or other mental developmental disabilities. It's just a way for them to communicate. So it wasn't specified on the article whether or not what the type of participants would be for future research. So I kind of just made my own assumptions. So I put that the study should be they should give the students or the child an opportunity to choose their own type of communication style. And that would just, I guess we can kind of say whether or not they're successful by the type of their preferred, it's either the preferred communication ways, like either the PECS or another electronic type of communication. So I just said that it'd be measured by their success on that.
I mean, yeah, it sounds good to me. I'm sure you're reading it really quick, but
How would you measure success though? What do you mean, like their success? What's
like how they implement the study. So let's say baseline, students unable to communicate prior to implementation of the strategy. Like,
okay, and so then improvement from baseline would be
right.
measurement. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll add that in. Okay. Okay, so should we go in the next one?
Yeah. So the next one, so it's number 3, chapter 3 mainly. So I chose an article from Psych article, and then similar to number 2, I have the abstract. So that's pretty straightforward. I just copied
Meeting with my group real quick. So we're almost done. Okay.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Okay, good. And then for B, what was measured and how it was measured, I put that the factors associated with family outcomes were measured and 3 multiple regressions were conducted to determine the extent to which selected child, family, or program variables were associated with families' reported outcomes. They did multiple they used multiple tools like the survey. They did also the family perception of early intervention. So overall, they used several methods, but because it's only asked me to choose one, so I chose that one.
Okay.
And then for C was the variable measured directly. Yes, I put the variables was measured directly, such as family income and time in early intervention. And for D, if an operational definition was used, what was the operational definition? I put it was not used. Because, and then the scale of measurement was used. I put the scale was interval. So they used p-value. So I thought that's considered interval.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Kashmir, for adding that.
No problem.
Yeah. And then for F, the researcher used a physiological, behavioral, or self-report. I put self-report. was measured mainly because when we interview the parents, the children, and basically the sample size, the people who had participated in the study, it was reported through the interview. It's considered self-report.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys have any questions?
That sounds good. Do you happen to have the article link?
I don't have the link
Okay, no worries.
for now. Yeah, it's called Measuring Family Outcomes in Early Intervention.
Okay.
I can type it out.
Yeah, I should be able to find it just with the title.
Yeah. Okay.
Looks good.
Yeah. I don't know how specific these needs to be, but this looks good to me.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, same.
From a large scale assessment. Okay, and then I'll copy that.
Okay, so are we doing number 4 now?
I think so.
Okay. Let me know if you guys can't hear me. I'm switching my app so I can see the actual questions right now. I'm using my phone. Okay, so mine, I have to select a construct and then define the construct, give the operational definition. One has to be by, I think, something self-reported. So I think I'm going to find like some kind of survey or something. There's a construct I chose is going to be fear. And then, so one is going to be self-reported, one is going to be actual, I think, observable behavior. So I'm going to probably list things like, does the person actively avoid a situation? Does the person report themselves, like if the breath speeds up, or they feel that their heart rate goes up, and things like that. So I'm going to look for actual behaviors of fear, and define it with that, and then probably find some kind of survey of fear that people probably filled out in the past, and of course, find the website, give the link and everything, and attach everything. So mine really is pretty straightforward. I don't really have to find any articles or anything like that. I just have to basically say what is the construct and how do you define it, both by observable behavior and by something that's self-reported.
Okay.
Yeah, so mine this week is going to be pretty easy in the sense that I don't have to find an article, but I do have to find, things like what can be observed in somebody who has fear, if their eyes widen, if you kind of see them jumping back, actual jumping, being startled, screaming maybe. So yeah, that's pretty much it as far as my part.
And then when do you think you'll have that updated on the Google Doc?
I'm planning to have it by Wednesday night. I don't think I'm going to be home early tonight, and I have class tomorrow. So I'm planning to do this Wednesday night.
That sounds good to me.
Okay. Yeah, because if anything, we could all look at it by any time. So
yeah. Cool.
Great.
Okay, so number 5. So mine was basically reading these different operational definitions and then deciding if each was valid and then whether or not it was reliable. So I kept getting kind of confused, so these might be off because I know validity is basically to make sure that it's measuring what it says it's measuring, and then reliability is whether you're going to get consistent results if you use this measure with the same person under identical conditions if the results will become the same. So I was trying to think of ways in which they wouldn't. So like for the first one, a researcher defines academic motivation in terms of the number of minutes a student spends working on class-related material outside of class during a 24-hour period from noon on Monday to noon on Tuesday. I put this wasn't valid because of the time frame, because they don't indicate when the class is. So this 24-hour period from noon on Monday to noon on Tuesday could be their rest period. So they decided not to do any schoolwork during this time. So it would look like they didn't have any motivation when they actually may be high in motivation. So that's what I put for validity of that one. For reliability, I put it is reliable in the sense that if it's the same student and it's, the same, 24-hour period under identical conditions where this is not part of their study period, then they should get the same results. But if you guys think of anything different, then let me know. This is just where my mind went.
Okay, that looks good.
Oh yeah, it looks, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then for the next one, a professor classifies students as either introverted or extroverted based on the level of participation in class. Again, I put this one wasn't valid because the level of participation could be a result of a lot of other things, like an extroverted student may not participate that day because they weren't prepared for class that day, or an introverted student might actually participate because they needed participation points, or they were prepared. So I didn't think that that was a true measure of introversion or extroversion. And then reliability, again, this is the one where I'm always questioning whether my answer is right, is I put it's not reliable because under identical conditions, which I'm thinking basically is just being in class on, that day of the week, at that time of the day, a student could participate differently because, maybe the weather outside is different and they feel more energized, or it's bad weather and they feel less energized, or whatever. So that was my thoughts on that. You can tell me if you think anything different.
I think that was good.
Yeah, I think that makes sense because it's kind of hard to measure if you're introverted or extroverted just based on their participation. Like you said, there's other factors that may affect participation. Maybe they just didn't feel like doing it that day,
Right. Maybe
Yeah.
they don't like the professor, so it's like, I don't want, I don't want to talk in class. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
cool. So then the third one, a sports psychologist measures physical fitness by measuring how far each person can throw a baseball. So again, I put this one wasn't valid because throwing a baseball doesn't measure complete physical fitness. It really only measures arm strength, I'm thinking. So it's excluding like cardiovascular. And then I don't know if this was something I should have been thinking of along these lines, but I was just thinking like, what about a person who doesn't have hands or who doesn't have arms? They could still be physically fit, but not be able to throw a baseball. So it's limited as well
Mm-hmm.
in who it can apply to. In addition to, it's only measuring a portion of physical fitness. And then for reliability, I put that it would be reliable because if you have the same person that's throwing this ball under identical conditions, then their results should be pretty much the same,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
then
thought
again, do sports psychologists really measure physical fitness?
Right.
It's gonna be like physiologists or something.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm like.
Okay.
Yeah, these are tricky, huh?
They
Yeah.
are.
Mm-hmm.
They have me going in circles. And then the last one, reasoning that bigger brains require bigger heads. A researcher measures intelligence by measuring the circumference of each person's head just above the ears. So again, I put this wasn't valid because one, it doesn't account for the various other reasons that a person may have a head with a larger circumference, like genetics, medical anomalies, skull size, or whatever.
Mhm.
And then I didn't put, but I guess I should put that also just because a person has a bigger brain does not necessarily mean that that's a measure of their intelligence. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll add that in for you.
thank you. And then as far as reliability, I thought it was very reliable, because if you're just measuring a person's head circumference, then it's going to be the same each time, pretty much under the same conditions. But
True.
again,
Yeah, these would have been
And
tricky for me. Sorry,
and
what were you
then another thing about that one is that what is their definition of intelligence? Thinking
right.
of the theory of the multiple intelligences, are they measuring musical intelligence? Are they thinking math? Are they thinking, actual speaking? So what is their definition of intelligence?
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. So that was good. I think everyone's pretty much on point on what they want to put on the group discussion questions. If you guys wanted to make changes, like I said, I'm not submitting it until Friday. But
Perfect. Yeah.
yeah, all in all, I feel like we're all on the same page here.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good job, everybody.
Yeah, I'll redo mine at one point today and find a newspaper article for it.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh yeah.
Good. Do you guys have anything else you want to add? Anything you want to discuss?
Just so next week for week 3, will we be back on a Wednesday evening?
That works for me. How does that work for everybody else?
Works for me.
What time would that be?
We did 6:30 last time. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's perfect.
Dantu?
6:30 for Wednesday, you guys said?
Next Wednesday. So what would
The
that be?
11th.
The 10th?
The 11th.
11th? Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
Okay, so I'll put that in the roster, so that way our professor will be updated as well.
Awesome.
Okay.
Great job, everyone.
Wait, I'm sorry. What time are we meeting on Wednesday?
6:30.
6:30. Sounds good. I'll be there.
All right. See you
All right.
all in 9 days.
See you then.
All right.
All right, bye. Enjoy the rest of your holiday.